Greetings, everyone. Last year, when we were discussing about Botswana, we did say that in our view, we think that Botswana should grant special permits to Zimbabweans that are in that country. Of course, we came under fire when we raised this thing that Botswana grant special permits. Later on, it was at the time when former President Masisi was in Harare. I think it was last year or 2 years back, was in Harare. He spoke about Zimbabweans, that he spoke about his solidarity to the political leadership in Zimbabwe. And at the time we said, we do not support solidarity to leadership. We support people-to-people solidarity. And we said at the time that if President Masisi was sincere about the condition of Zimbabweans, which he had described as because of sanctions, and in view of the thousands of Zimbabweans that are in Botswana, we said Zimbabweans should be granted special permits. We said the government of Botswana should consider that. You will also recall that then there was a proposal to not use the passport, something that we really did not engage on. But what we're raising ourselves was that special permits should be granted to Zimbabweans if indeed the political leadership of Botswana was or is in solidarity with the political leadership in Zimbabwe on the basis of sanctions. Now, the new president in Botswana, President Duma Boko, has told journalists that his government will consider to grant special permits to Zimbabweans that are in Botswana. Is something not yet passed by the Botswana government, but when I was talking to journalists, this is what President Boko said, that he thinks that it is important to grant special permits to Zimbabweans living in Botswana, and we welcome this development. President Boko is quoted as saying, I quote, "They come in and are undocumented. Then their access to amenities is limited, if it is available at all. And what they then do is they live outside the law and they commit crimes. And this brings resentment. So what we need to do is to formalize, have a proper arrangement that recognizes that people from Zimbabwe are already here," close quote. So this is a huge development from the president of Botswana, that there's a consideration to grant special permits to the people of Zimbabwe that are already in Botswana. According to this article, it says that when a minister last year was responding, the Botswana minister in parliament, he had said that of the 13,489 migrants between 2021 to 2023, 13,189 were Zimbabwean nationals. So there's a huge population of Zimbabweans in Botswana. And as I say, we welcome this development. President Boko is quoted as saying, I continue, "A lot of these workers from Zimbabwe perform tasks that the citizens find unattractive. They do jobs that would otherwise not get done, and so there's no conflict there." And then he continues, "In any case, every construction site in Botswana, the majority of people with those skills are from Zimbabwe. So we need to do a twin program of allowing them to come in and we utilize the skills that they have, and in the process of utilizing these skills, we also engage in some sort of skills transfer, close quote. So that's a bold decision by the Botswana president. We hope that as they settle into office, it is one of the issues that they are going to implement. But as we always said, that while we appreciate this gesture from the Botswana president and his government, while we appreciate this gesture, we have a task of resolving the political, economic, and social crisis in Zimbabwe. We've always said, and we continue to say, that we cannot outsource the task of resolving the crisis. It is us, Zimbabweans, whether Zimbabweans in the ruling party, whether us who are outside the ruling party, whether Zimbabweans that are not actively engaged in political activity, it is our task, all of us as Zimbabweans. So this gesture should not be permanent. It's a gesture that allows us a breathing space to deal with our own internal problems in Zimbabwe. Because it is us. We have a crisis, and we must acknowledge that we have a crisis. So it's important, therefore, that we develop mechanisms of resolving the crisis. And the first step that we must do, we must resolve the political crisis. This means that when we go to the next elections, elections must be held in accordance with the Zimbabwe Constitution and the SADC protocol on holding free and fair elections. That should be the minimum. We believe that once we do that, Zimbabweans should be in a position to elect a government of their choice. Once the government that is being elected or has been elected, a government that is recognized by the people of Zimbabwe, we then begin the process of building a national democratic economy based on national planning linked to devolution of power to the people. So these are two key things. The first thing is to resolve the political crisis that we have in Zimbabwe. The question of legitimacy. The question of holding an election where the people of Zimbabwe will express themselves in a free and a fair environment. Then we carry out the task of building a national democratic economy. Please like this video, write in the comment section. If you are on TikTok, please do follow us. Otherwise, goodbye.